Is Bitcoin getting ready for a correction? Is it time for Bitcoin and the wider cryptocurrency markets to have a bit of a cooling off period? And does that spell trouble for our rally? Is Bitcoin going to go back to $20,000 and then just take an elevator straight down to zero? Well, probably not. But where are we looking here for targets on a potential pullback here? Well, I think, of course, the key area is around $20,000. Obviously, that's a major area of price support and resistance that we've seen right back in time. Not only is it a big number, not only is that the previous high from the previous cycle, we see all these areas of price support and resistance right through here as well. Plus, that basically lines up with the 200-day simple moving average, the blue line on the chart here. As you can see, it's only a 13% move down. That's not that scary. We've already seen Bitcoin go down 70% in the last year. What's a 13% move, guys? I mean, come on now, come on, really, a 13% move? Was that a correction for ants? Of course it is. What is this stuff? 13% move would line up with a lot of important price levels, as well as just being a big fat psychological number that people, are attracted to because we've got our lizard brains engaged all the time. So that would be a very interesting point if you're looking to buy a pullback, put those limit orders in at 20 or just below 20K around the 200-day simple moving average. But what can we expect on such a move, and is this actually pretty typical in a market move? Well, I want to take a look at the 2019 charts here with you for a moment, just so you can understand. This stuff's all pretty standard, right? So just before we do that, look at the RSI right here. RSI got up to a nice level, got up to 89 right on this move. So it's a nice overbought reading. The second rally higher, well, we came in at a lower RSI reading, showing that, yes, well, the price did push higher, that we are seeing a divergence happening, right? A bearish divergence where we're seeing higher prices but lower peaks on the RSI coming in here. So let's go back into 2019. Just have a little peek here, just to get an understanding of how such a cycle could play out. And again, we're not going to see some kind of exact repeat situation of 2019. That's not how markets work, but we could see some rhythm and rhyme happening. So look at the first big move after, of course, we had our major oversold reading in late 2018, movements towards market recovery, and our first overbought reading, right? So that was a move that actually brought us, from $3,200 up to $4,200, like a 30 to 40% move. Does that sound familiar? Something like what we just had, right? We're about 30 to 40% off of the bottom right now. We had the overbought readings, and then you know what? Things cooled off for a little bit. We had a bit of a correction, a bit of sideways action, some consolidation period happening, and then we had more exciting bullish momentum, right? We had actually 3 different peaks where the RSI got up to around 90 during the 2019 market rally. We also had lots of crazy corrections. We had plenty of days where we had 10% corrections, where we had 20% corrections. This is all pretty standard stuff during that time. And of course, every single time that happened, there were people screaming, it's all over, that's the end of the rally. And of course, the rally eventually did come to a sputtering stop after we came up 200, 300%, right? So it was a very significant market rally that actually happened. And of course, we did end the year 50% down from the highs that were reached in the summertime, which could align potentially with Federal Reserve policies if we see the terminal rates happening in, for example, April of this year. That could give us the fuel for a summer rally for stocks and crypto. Then if the Fed starts cutting rates later this year because of recession and stuff like that, that could provide the exact sort of fuel for a downward price movement. Just thoughts, right? Speculation on what could or could not happen here in the markets. So what would that mean in a current situation? Well, this could mean just we are simply in our first big move, our first wave, if you will, of a 2023 bear market rally. Remember, bear market rally can be very, very spectacular. And it's not to say a new bull run is happening, right? We're not going to go to new all-time high prices in 2023. I would be pleasantly surprised if that happened, but I don't see that as being the most likely scenario, price-wise, to be playing out. But maybe a rally up to 48K for Bitcoin, that is something we could potentially start talking about seeing that could play out throughout the year. And if that were to happen, it does not happen in a straight line. It happens with lots of moves up, consolidation periods back down. Think of it 2 steps forward, 1 step back as we move towards those kind of price targets, especially again if we get the proper monetary conditions to form a risk-on attitude in the markets. That could be the fuel that we need for such a rally to happen. But whatever does happen for Bitcoin, of course, we need to keep our eyes on the equity markets because our fate does seem to be relatively tied to what is happening to the stock markets right now. We see the S&P 500 right down here coming up and potentially not crossing over on this weekly candle, of course, a very key downtrend line. We've seen this line being respected multiple times now, and this could be our 3rd attempt to break it that could be potentially failing. We'll see how the rest of the week plays out. We are only halfway through that weekly candle, so a lot can still happen. However, if we get rejected here, that would fuel the thesis that we are going to see a bit of a correction here coming to the markets. The S&P 500 might come back down a little bit here. Maybe it makes another attempt at that trend line soon to break out and go for a summer rally itself. Where the S&P 500 goes, Bitcoin will go and altcoins will follow in a more volatile fashion. If the S&P 500 moves 1%, Bitcoin's going to move 2%, altcoins are going to move 5 to 10%, 20%, right? Depending on how low cap, how volatile, how speculative those altcoins are. So it all really just feeds back into, are we going to see a risk-on environment coming this year or not? And a lot of that, of course, is going to depend on the Federal Reserve meeting next week. By the way, if you are a cryptocurrency trader, then you need to get yourself an account over on Bybit. They have wildly popular futures markets. They have 0% fees on their spot markets. And if you use the link down below to join over 10 million Bybit traders, you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, which is totally crazy. So use that first link in the description to check it out. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Subscribe now and see you next time.